Hello everyone, good afternoon and welcome to today's Great Wine Capitals webinar. My name is Céline Bechler. I'm the communication manager for the Vaud wine from the state of Vaud in Switzerland, and I coordinate the webinars working group within the Great Wines Capital Network. The Great Wine Capitals Network brings together 11 major wine regions across the world. We work collectively to promote excellence in wine tourism, to encourage innovation and to build bridges between regions, professionals, and cultures. Through knowledge sharing, collaborative projects, and webinars like today, our goal is to inspire wine tourism globally. Today's topic is wine tourism and heritage. We will explore how history, architecture, and culture, whether centuries old or more recent, can shape visitor experience, identity, and storytelling, and how heritage can remain a driver of innovation, economic value, and long-term relevance. We are very pleased to welcome three speakers today who will share their perspective on this theme. And it is now my pleasure to introduce our moderator, Mark Shockley. Mark is a media, communication, and of course, wine specialist. And he has led already several Great Wine Capitals webinars and with clarity and insight. He will guide us today to this discussion and help us dive deeper into each story. Mark, thank you. The floor is yours.
Merci, Céline. Hello, everyone. Welcome to, our final webinar of the Great Wine Capitals Network for this year, 2025. It's a joy to have you all. Please, in the chat, tell us where you're signing in from, where you are. And of course, it could be good morning for you in the Southern Hemisphere and good evening for us in the Northern Hemisphere. I'm coming to you in Vaud, in the state of Vaud in Switzerland. And as Céline so rightly introduced, we're talking about heritage today, the classic line, the classic story. And of course, wine by its nature is a heritage product that has been in our lives for more than 8,000 years. But in the business of wine and winemaking, heritage and stories can sometimes get lost in the business and can sometimes be forgotten or not always focused on. But today we're going to explore how heritage is such a binder, as you could say, a blender of all parts of land, people, and wine. And it is a joy now to introduce our speakers today. We have Patricia de Ortiz, signing in from Mendoza, Doris Sommer, signing in just down the road in Lausanne, and last of all, Rafael Vivanco in Rioja. We're going to start off, and please just to let you know, this is being recorded and will be posted to our YouTube channel, so please feel free to share it with anyone else in your network who may be benefiting from this. We can have general chats inside, but please put anything specific to our panelists today in the Q&A. Thank you so much. And we're first going to take it over with Patricia, who is part of Club Tapiz in Mendoza. And we're going to be talking about their wonderful experience built and nurtured on heritage. Take it away, Patricia.
Okay, thank you so much. And for us, good morning. We are in the South Hemisphere. So we are located in Mendoza. Mendoza is the main wine region in Argentina and is located at the foothill of the Andes. And Mendoza is already a world-class wine destination. But wine is not only for us an agriculture or an economic activity, it's also a tourist destination. And but what we have seen today is that travelers are looking for much more than great wines. When they come, they want to have memorable stories. And what we have seen is that culture can build that. So in a winery visit, it's not enough today. We need to give them something more emotional and a very lasting experience, a story that they can tell when they go back and bring more visitors to see us. So in Club Tapiz, we have been working to create that integrated activities. So it's like an ecosystem. We have there is a hotel, a restaurant, activities that can be done in the vineyards, because we know that everybody brings a lot of fantasies when they visit a wine country. What they believe and thinks about the wine. So they like to be part of it. So we provide them with scissors, and depending on the season, they can be doing harvest, or they can prune, or whatever activity is being done at that time of the year, they can be part of that. So they feel that they are part of the wine process. And also, we believe that creating a culture activity is for them an extension of the visit, and always bring us much more visitors, not only wine lovers, but also we receive students, art collectors, art visitors, that they are interested because of the art that we are showing, and on the side we also can show them wine. So we think that both activities, one with the other one, really benefits together. So I'm showing you a short video so that when I'm talking, you can put a little bit more of image and understand what I'm saying. I don't know if you are seeing it.
Not just yet, Patricia.
Not
maybe just share your screen. Yeah.
Okay. Let me go back. No.
Yep. So we can see your desktop. Now you can just open the video, I think. Yep. There it is, I think. Yep.
Here it is.
Wonderful. We can see it. Yep.
Yeah, great.
Zooming
So
into
here
Mendoza.
You can see where we are.
Yeah.
This is Club Tapiz. Club Tapiz is our fourth winery. It's a winery where we just produce olive oil and sparkling the Champenoise method. And here is where we are entering that old winery converted into a cultural center. So we call this place Pour la Galerie. And it's like a winery transform itself to embrace the art. So we can see the big old barrels now converted in an exhibition in our museum about textiles, because the name is tapiz. Tapiz means tapestry. And all these textiles are dated from 100, 150, 200-year-old, done in the Middle East by nomad women for the everyday life. So they may use these things, to put the bread, to put the salt for the animals, to lay on. For example, these small pieces, they are like pouches where they may put the salt to give to the animals. But they all has been curated by Ferran Barenblit, who is the director of the Modern Art Museum in Barcelona, as contemporary art. So the idea is that we are displaying art pieces today done by very remote people without knowing that they are producing art. Then we have the gallery, which is where we have different exhibitions. Today, what you can see is modern textiles done in the traditional way, and done by in Iran. We send them to Iran to be with, and the models are under Adolfo Estrada, who is an Argentine painter living in Spain, that he gave us the right of 22 of his paintings in order to make them as textiles with the old techniques but modern things. So this is, in short, what we are showing. And the idea, again, is to bring together art, culture, history in a place in order to get people more in a visit, much more than just a glass of wine. And again, increases the value of the destination. For us, we are really far away, getting to Mendoza is like from Europe, 12, 14 hours. So we really need to surprise our visitors when they come to see us and show them not only the identity of Mendoza, but also more valuable things that convince them to travel so far south. And so we believe that people look for much more than wine when they come to see today. And we hope that giving them activities to do, plus different art exhibition and great wines, we can have a lot of people visiting and coming to Mendoza.
Thank you, Patricia. I just want to ask you, and please Feel free to put any questions into the Q&A, which we can cover now or later during the webinar. But Patricia, in terms of people, are there certain seasons that you're seeing more guests coming through? And generally, what are the top 2 experiences other than the tapestry, the museum itself, that they're engaging with?
Well, we are seeing, after the pandemic, it was a big change of the tourists. Today, we're seeing them coming back from the States, from Canada, and from Europe. We got always a lot of French people coming to visit us because there is a big connection with Bordeaux and Mendoza. Michel Roland is a big consultant in Mendoza. Our winery works with Jean-Claude Berruet from Chateau Petrus. So there is a big, always back and forth. Our winemakers go always to Bordeaux. So we receive a lot of people from France, and they are coming back. And the activities, as you are telling, what we offer them is to be part of the activities in the vineyards. And also, when they go to the winery, our visiting is with a glass in the hand, so they can taste the barrels and see the difference between American and French oak. They taste from the tank, so they can see how awful the wine can be in one moment when it's fermentation. So again, for people traveling into the wine regions, it's because they want to be part of that. They want to understand how the wine is being made, because otherwise they may buy the best wine in a wine store and that's it. But when they come and they travel so far, it's because they really want to have an insight. So we try to give them all of that so that they can even make blends in the winery by an extra cost. But there is a game that we have, so they can do games. We have, 2 weeks ago, we got like 50. It was a birthday party, and one of the programs was to come and make a blend. And they really had a lot of fun. They said, for us, it's incredible to go and get some wine from a barrel and do taste and put them and try different percentages. So really, people engage with that. And I think for the wine industry, it's very good to get people always and more close to us.
Interesting. It's such a fascinating phenomena that one of the hardest jobs in winemaking or viticulture is harvest, and now people are readily lining up to do the harvest. So this is a new change which directly connects back to all the generations who have harvested before them. So fascinating. Thank you so much. Again, we'll come back to other questions from you, but I want to now move on a little bit further from the Southern Hemisphere back to the Northern Hemisphere, to here in Switzerland. And it's a wonderful pleasure to introduce now Doris Sommer from Clos d'Abbé, which is one of the domains of Lausanne City in the state of Vaud. And we're going to be hearing about this wonderful experience of oniotourism that dates back to the 16th century. Take it away, Doris.
Okay, thank you, Mark. So nice to meet you, even if I can't see you. It's a pleasure to be here. So I'm gonna talk to you about Lausanne or about Switzerland, and with topic when heritage is heavy. So we're gonna focus on the Lavaux area, which is World Heritage, UNESCO World Heritage since 2007, and it's nice for us to be part of it, but not always easy. So I'm gonna try to share you my screen. I hope it works, and then get my text back, and we can go on. So in my presentation, I'm gonna talk to you, let you quickly discover the 5 domains of Lausanne. Then I make a focus on wine tourism in Lavaux, what I already said. And I will finish by showing you what we are doing in our wineries of Lausanne, and also how we show history and heritage through our wine labels. Lausanne is a public vineyard, so it's unique in Switzerland. Lausanne owns 5 estates, providing coherence, visibility, and structured management of its wine heritage. You can see here the Clos des Abbayes, which belongs to Lausanne since 1536, so 16th centuries. So we have spectacular landscape, historic heritage, terraced vineyards, Lake of Geneva in the background, historic winery buildings with cellars and chapels. You can see here the Clodim one. So all this is setting appeals to tourists, wine lovers, and enthusiasts of history and nature. Combination of wine tourism accommodation by offering tastings, auctions, and bed and breakfasts. And also it's accessibility and local routes. So from Lausanne, you can easily join all our wineries. So really make it in Lausanne, it's a role as a getaway to the great vineyards of Vaud. Then I will come to Lavaux. So Lausanne is an exceptional wine growing landscape made of terraces, stone walls, and closely linked to the lake villages. So as I mentioned before, it's a UNESCO World Heritage since 2007, named for the interaction between humans and their environment. So when history of Lavaux begins, there was only forest. So monks, Cistercian monks, cut the forest down and create all the walls that holding our winds now. So there is more than 800 kilometers of walls to hold our winds back. So every year this beauty attracts visitors in search of authenticity and local wines. But the development of wine tourism here has to contend some challenging realities. Which are firstly the vast majority are small family businesses, so really run by family by themselves. These farms produce remarkable wines, but often have limited resources to develop visitor facilities, hire dedicated staff, or launch costly communication campaigns. This investment required to regularly welcome visitors can quickly be too big for the little size of the wineries. Secondly, the space available in the villages is limited. As you can see here on the picture, the villages are really, every houses are really close to another. So building plots are rare. Urban planning is very restrictive. And it's really difficult to construct new accommodations, large tasting rooms, or even parking lots. So it's really everything have to be rethought because it can be extended. Thirdly, landscape protection, and so there is a big landscape protection to really keep Lavaux as we know and as we love it. So there isn't really any possibilities to build larger, to receive more tourism. But these frameworks aim to protect what makes Lavaux so special, but they require creative solution to develop tourism without altering the site. So this constraints Lavaux has major assets. So as you saw on the picture before, the first strength is the remarkable beauty of the landscape and villages. So it's really a powerful tourist attraction. The second one is the authenticity of the wine growers. So you can really meet them in their cellar, in their wines. The expertise is passed down from generation. Its wines which are rooted deeply in their terroir. And these elements really create a kind of wine tourism experience that I highly thought after the day. So this quality, its sharing, and this discovery. So there are solutions even in our small villages, but it isn't easy. So the solution have to go by sharing spaces. So the producer helps each other to create events, to share spaces, to organize together some solutions. So I think we can say that I don't know. I will go find my text. No, I don't find it anymore. But voilà, it's not easy. It can be done, but really we can do just what we want. We have to think about a lot of smaller solutions to keep level like we love it and not transform it. Oh no, what happens now? Up.
Oh, there we go. Yep, on your tourism, Doris.
Still not finished. Lausanne tourism. Some initiative here in Lausanne already in place. Guided tours and tasting. Guided tours have been organized in the past. They offer really the opportunity to discover the history of Lausanne's vineyards. What we also have a special event is our wine auction. Actually, 10% of our wines are sold with an auction annually. This is a really old tradition. It goes back to 1803. So it's even older than the auction here in Burgundy.
Yep.
Then in our estates, so we offer now B&B in Domaine du Burignon. So it offers apartments, very quick. They stay directly among the winds, enjoying the amazing scenery, wake up with the view on the lake. So we have the chance that our wineries are mostly out of the villages. So we have space to offer some kind of accommodation. Our next program is to open tasting space in Clos des Moines. So we plan to open the terrace on Saturdays and Sundays. The idea is to make a little bistro where visitors can, of course, have a glass of wine, some things to eat, and really to taste to the life, taste to the living in the middle of the winery and in the landscape. So what is Switzerland? Everything has to be very squared. So we're gonna give a license to serve food and alcohol. We have to go into a new affection from the space to make it from working space to a visitor space. Of course, all this have to be planned for security and checked and labeled for this. And then what else do we need? And we're gonna need one person for running this business. Because we see we are we had a lot to do with the wins in the cellar, and we don't have the know-how to running businesses like this. So as for the Domaine du Burignon before, this place gonna be run by a private person. And last but not least, storytellings is in and for us also on the bottle. So wines and wine have historically been part of our culture. So in Lausanne, we are wine growers and since 1536. And so we really wanted to show this historical part, this historical heritage on our labels. So for use now for our bottles, labels that were designed in the 1910s, in the 1950s. So to really show the tradition and be witnesses of this tradition. And so we see now it works really good, because if people come to Lavo, they see all these little villages, all this tradition, and so it works really well. People are really happy to find these old pictures, but it's loved a lot mostly. Voilà, so I finishes my toppings.
Wonderful, Don. Thank you so much. Thank you. Beautiful
Really
photos, of course. Just in terms of the challenges you mentioned, obviously me being a local, I know that as well, because with such dramatic vistas and dramatic terraces, it doesn't allow a lot of space to expand an experience or to build an experience. So how have you been trying to find, as you mentioned, with Brognon and Chateau de Moi, how are you finding you can develop at this? Obviously, you can outsource, but is there a push from the local region and from the authorities to help move this more efficiently for welcoming new visitors?
Yes, laws are starting to be easier now to help us push, because we know now it's the wine consumption, the wine sales are going back, and so it's a whole area. It's touched by this phenomenon. So authorities help us now. The law is becoming a little easier to receive people, to develop things in our vineyards. But it's still, but as I said, we are in Switzerland, so it's not always easy. You have to enter in one case, and if you're not really in it, by it won't pass. But I think authorizing law, it's now helps us to make this case where we have to enter a little bigger.
Exactly,
But
because
also,
wine consumption is going down, but of course, people traveling and wanting different experiences is going up. So, did you feel like with what you've done with the B&B in Domaine de Bourgogne has inspired others in the region? Are you seeing more development in the accommodation space?
yes, our accommodation spaces are going up. So we started our bed and breakfast that it's well working since 10 years, but it started 15 years ago. And it works really, really well, especially on main season. It's fully booked nearly whole summer. And so yes, it opens a lot, and we have also other winemakers coming and asking questions and visiting, and what do you think? So that's also one of our forces. I think that level is small, so we know each other, and so we also can give each other tips and helping each others for projects like this. Definitely, yes.
Wonderful. Collaboration is key in a market that is about innovation, but also with challenge on a daily idea process, and of course what nature throws with us with the wine making on the vines as well. So thank you. I can see some people have already coming in. We've got people from Bordeaux and Brazil and London. This is wonderful. Great to see you here. California, I think, is also. So we're having lots of people signing in. Fantastic. We're going to go back to more questions, but last but not least, we're going to now move over to Rafael. We're going down to Spain, to Rafael Vivanco and the Vivanco Museum of Wine Culture. So please, Rafael, take over. And Doris, you can stop sharing your screen for now.
It's done.
Merci.
Okay. Hello, everyone, and thanks for this opportunity to share our passion for wine through our Vivanco project on the culture heritage of wine. Let's have a look to this presentation. So,
we don't see your presentation yet, Rafael. Have you shared your screen?
One second.
Yep, all good.
1 second.
Voila. Yep, just hit present.
Here it is. Okay. So,
and hit the present key. Then fantastic.
So, we are placed in Rioja, in Spain, in the north of Spain, near Bilbao, as you can see on the valley of the river Ebro. And we are in the upper part, in Rioja Alta, where you can see Imbriones, in a very nice place surrounded by mountains, by small hills, small castles, beautiful villages. But we are. I am the fourth generation, together with my brother Santiago. You can see my father, my great-grandfather on this picture. I love. So our origins are very humble, and always since 1915 dedicated only to wine. So today, my brother on the left hand side, he's in charge of wine tourism. He couldn't be today with us, but I'm pleased. I'm a enologue, as my father was, and my father in the center of the picture, he was the pillar in the family, promoting to share his passion for wine in the family, but also to others. And that's the reason of this project. He passed away in 2016, but I'm very proud of him, of course. The village of Briones, as you can see, it's a beautiful a medieval village on top of a hill. It was the frontier in the ancient times between the different kingdoms in Spain, Navarre and Castile. And it's surrounded by vineyards with very poor soils, chalky soils, pebble stones, low vigor, and very famous Rioja Alta wines for the long aging, which gave a big reputation for Rioja wines in the past. Some mountains in the north, Cantabria Mountains. And this is what you can see when you come to our place. We are totally surrounded by vineyards. The bodega is totally underground, but this building you can see is the restaurant and the museum, and two stories underground cover the experience. Everything is on wine. So it's not an art gallery, it's a tribute to wine. It's important. And as my father said, we want to give back to wine what wine has given us. We are so lucky to be in the wine business. We want to share our passion to all visitors. This is the aim of Vivanco family. So, of course, we are winemakers. We own a winery with our family name on the wines, with a very interesting assortment of wines. But which is really important is that the bottle also transmits culture and heritage, because we selected the last most common blown bottle by the late 18th century, early 18th century, which is the one on the left from our collections. We show in our museum from Greek times, Roman times, through history till now. We picked this one, so it's our bottle. We have patented it, but not only just the bottle is history and culture, but also the labels transmit this passion and this differentiation in the world of wine. So it's not only to decorate a piece from the museum, to decorate a wine, but also it connects with the personality of the wine inside, which makes it a bit even more different. You can have a quick look to our range of wines, totally inspired and decorated by pieces of art or archaeology from our museum. This is another view of the place. And as I have to insist, it's not a museum of Rioja wine or Vivanco wine or Spanish wines. It's a real tribute to wine in capital letters. So everyone from very, very different destinations can find pieces from their origins. So we've been collecting for many, many years all over the world, and this is the result. And as you could see on the first screen, we got the award of excellence by the Great Wine Capitals, together with La Cité du Vin in Bordeaux and WOW project in Porto. So we are also very, very happy of this recognition, of course. It was inaugurated in 2004. The King of Spain, together with the Spanish authorities and local authorities, came for the occasion. And so it was a great, great day, as you can see. And visited so far by more than 2 million people. So 21 years now since the opening. So it's we were pioneers in Rioja, developing wine tourism, creating a project with services to visitors, facilities. So before, just the wineries just opened some doors to clients, but nothing more than that. So in 2004, we were very pioneers. And the museum ranges big 5 rooms. This is the very first one. And it's not an static or very old-fashioned style, but in a very modern way, designed by experts in designing museums, but not we were not paying too much attention to other wine or wine centers or wine museums existing at that time, which were quite traditional. So we looked up really much the new tendencies in museums in general. And this is the result. So it's interactive screens, so you can relax through the visit. Children enjoy, old people enjoy, blind people can find adapted visits as well, and so on and so on. And a part of the ethnic collection you can expect in a wine museum. We also offer a very interesting fine art collection on wine. You can see a Picasso painting on the left, a Sorolla Picasso on the right, and many other pieces also with Andy Warhol and so on. Walt Disney, and archaeology, of course, ranging from Mesopotamian art, Egyptian art, Roman art, and so on. And all pieces are connected to wine. This sculpture on the right hand is a Roman harvester with a little dish on the left hand to try the juice and decide when to harvest. That's really special for us to have and show in our museum. And the last big room, is devoted to the service of wine, with the big collection of corkscrews being the main collection, with almost over 3,000 different corkscrews since its invention in the mid-17th century till now. So it's really a very special thing, apart from many other tools for drinking, serving, and so on. And in the outside of the museum, the sixth room would be the Bacchus Garden, a collection of more than 200 different grapes or rootstocks from all over the world, which is a real tribute to the vine, to the plant. And of course, we offer guided tours, wine tasting courses, harvest experiences, panoramic restaurant, cafeteria, and so on. Even this little place for children is surrounded by our vineyards, which is a bunch. You can look after the children while you are enjoying a glass of wine at the cafeteria or at the restaurant. And but all the museum can be just a static collection, but the foundation was created by my brother Santiago to become more dynamic, sharing. So we printed many books on wine. We also manage our wine documentation center, open for researchers, journalists, with all kind of collections, on documentations, books, all publishing, and so on, and other activities. You can see my brother in archaeological site we promoted many years ago in the center of our vineyards in Low Rioja into the Lilla. So it's a very special Roman foundation, but then medieval cellar where monks made wine. And because of challenges, today we decided to follow other strategies to promote our project and bring more visitors. So, of course, experience-driven programs, so gastronomic, hands-on, harvesting, and many of all these ideas other colleagues already developed. Also, trying to diversify. So the idea is to bring for team building, training sessions for companies, incentives, and so on. So wine sometimes is a pretext, is an excuse, but a place to really enjoy a special atmosphere, but to you know. And also through media events, this brings high visibility. For instance, we were the place of an episode of MasterChef in Spain, The Bachelor in US, and many other big radio shows. So you know, the visibility is so much bigger following this, and it's not just advertising. The people doing this transmit the passions they feel when they are in our place, and so you know, the audience feel I think a deeper message from them. So itinerant exhibitions, we bring collections to other places, a selection of our collections, pop-up events. So this idea works very well and also helps us to develop the distribution. So for wine selling in other regions or destinations too. And also trying to find strategic partnerships, collaborating with other museums, such as Bordeaux, Cité du Vin. My brother is traveling to Bordeaux now because tomorrow he's collaborating with La Cité du Vin there since the opening. So culinary institutes, such the one as CIA in America, universities, sommelier courses, and schools, and all these ideas help us to become more dynamic. So thank you so much.
Gracias, Rafael. Thank you so much. I have a
welcome.
question, first of all, just in terms of those wonderful PowerPoint strategic messages and ideas you've got. In terms of data, how are you finding out what your guests who are visiting and what they're enjoying and how to improve with these pop-up events and collaborations? How do you find or get the data to know what you're doing right and what you could do better?
Of course, we listen to the visitors. I think the best idea is not only to see numbers, but really to ask the visitors. You have to make a poll and really listen to them. And I think the personal answers are the best ones to improve. This is our experience. Yes.
Okay, and is that going beyond sort of your typical Google reviews or anything? Do you take a assertive effort to get data from your guests? Yeah.
Sorry. Go, Ama. Sorry.
That's okay.
Sorry.
No problem.
Okay, this is the direct, you can see. Okay, so of course, we've got a team for that. So they promote this and they follow all this data, but I'm not the responsible for that. But of course, we have a team
Santi
for that.
is away.
Santi
yes,
and also
Yeah.
Maria, Leire are in charge of this. Yes.
And you think that obviously is a core part of the development of the business, right? Because heritage has to have a starting point, but also has to have a goal, right? So collecting data, knowing about this is a strategic decision for you at Vivanco. Yeah.
Yes, and as their colleague said, you have to be authentic. If you offer something, it has to be authentic. And in our family, our passion, the collecting, the idea of sharing is really, we have inherited that for so many years, so you can feel it there. And also, we try to ask our team, our guides to transmit this, which is really, really important too.
Fantastic. Good. We're pleased we've opened up the Q&A to questions. So please put your questions in there. As we get people asking questions, we'll look through it. But I have a question for all three of you. Now we've talked a little bit about that consumption of wine globally is going down. That is a challenge for the entire industry. But travel experiences is up. How do you communicate and access people who are not particularly interested in wine as a specific way to go there? Maybe, Patricia, as we start with you, how do you attract non-wine drinkers or non-wine tourists?
Well, in our case, again, we link wine with art. So we bring over art collectors, art lovers, students from different universities. Now we are starting a cycle. The new exhibition will be about Borges. Borges is a writer. So we are bringing people from literature. We are working together with other labyrinths in the world because Borges was doing a labyrinth. Our museum is a labyrinth. So we are part of a labyrinth now that they will have a passport. So when they visit the labyrinth, they get a stamp. So they may visit all the labyrinths in the world, in Venice, in the Arab countries. And so we are trying to go beyond the wine lovers and to bring these people to the wine, because when they come to visit us, you know, Mendoza is not only wine, Mendoza is also gastronomy. We have great restaurants, many of them with Michelin stars. So the experience, even we are far, is very complete. So we bring different people that are food lovers. They may come to Mendoza because of the food, and then we introduce them to the wine. Of course, they love wine also, but showing them how much you can get in Mendoza. And then, of course, they fall in love when they see those mountains, and they can believe all the, you know, the architecture of the wineries. People really get surprised when they go there.
Thank you, Patricia. I love the idea of this passport. I know when we talked earlier about it, this is something that intrigued me. Maybe we could start a Great Wine Capitals passport as well. This would be super cool. Doris, for you, obviously we talked a little bit about this and about the new opportunities in business. A little bit more about that for non-wine enthusiasts specifically.
We don't really have this problem because a lot of tourists, the most tourists who come visit Switzerland, who come visit Lavaux, don't even know that we are doing wine. So our problem is more to let them discover our Swiss wine, because Lavaux is one of the posts for people visiting Switzerland. There is one day in Lavaux, one day in Zermatt. So that we are big, but we are now UNESCO World Heritage also helps us a lot. So since 2007, so it's going into the visiting of Switzerland. So we have to make them discover that we are doing wine. So finally, it's not really the same for us.
But it's like reverse architecture, right? You bring them
Exactly.
into the mountains, the lakes, the experience, the activities, and then say, voila, we have vin.
Exactly. We don't have only watches and cheese. We have also the wine who is going with the cheese.
Exceptional wine and cheese. And Rafael, obviously your museum, and thank you for the photos. They showed just the experience as what it is. But those non-wine enthusiasts, is this a challenge or is it something that you've already been able to solve?
I think the good thing of owning a museum is that in groups, there are always a few that maybe they are not wine enthusiasts, but through history, through the role of wine in society and history, you learn from that during our experience. You enjoy also the landscape. You enjoy visiting small villages around. But the main thing is that many people discover what you can find behind a glass of wine after our visit. And it's really important today because they show more respect to wine after our visit. And sometimes I've been asked, Rafa, what's your highest score for a wine or your best award for a wine? And I say, my best award is not for a wine, but when somebody exiting our museum recognizes me there and say, hey, you are part of the Vivanco family. I saw you on the video. You know, today it was my very first day tasting a wine, because after what I saw during the visit, I couldn't hesitate to try at least a glass of wine. So this is my very highest score.
Wonderful, lovely put. And in fact, when it comes to heritage, it is something that binds all society because we all come from it. And whether you drink wine or not, we are affected by the heritage and the hard work of the generations who've put their life into these arts. And wine and winemaking and viticulture is an art of heritage and history and generations. We have some questions in here. Maybe I'll put this first to you, Rafael, and then over to you, Doris and Patricia. Questions coming in from Bergerac in France. So Karine asks, do you think there is a market for premium services such as private transportation with drivers and wine experts, bringing in small groups, so less than 10 people, for instance, for visits and tastings to wineries? Rafael.
Yeah, I think there's more and more space for that these days. More and more people want to have a luxury experience, or instead of luxury, let's say a deep experience not in a big group, but in having the winemaker as the guide or the family owner as the guide, with more time, with deeper knowledge, also the contact. They want also the contact for the future. Some people want to keep the contact after the visit, and they are, of course, they are eager to pay much more than average. And I think it's a big opportunity to earn more, but also to satisfy the demand of a specific public.
And of course, you did mention about authenticity, which is a key part of spending the day with the winemaker. Patricia, obviously, you have 4 wineries under the group. So is this something that is or a feature that is coming up, more of these premium, exclusive and private types of experiences stitched together with the heritage of the domains and the brand?
Yeah, well, we see the luxury travel is what is growing more and more. And again, having experiences. People travel to have an experience hand by hand. So again, one of our programs in those luxury tours that we may receive is that they share lunch with the team, and they love that. And they have the same lunch that we may have every day. It's not that we change the menu. But for people, it's like sitting next to the winemaker and the lady from the lab and talking and being part of that conversation during lunchtime. For them, it's like something that is worth. They pay for that. And sharing a day with them, and then sometimes they go with our agronomist together, visiting the different vineyards and being part of that. And those experiences, when you are in the wine business, you don't understand that because that's your everyday work. But for people not being there, for them it's like magic. So we try to provide with that because we see the growing interest in this type of tourism.
Wine is magic. Sounds wonderful. I would love a lunch like this. I'll be there. Doris, for Switzerland, it can be considered already a premium experience place to visit due to a lot of the costs and where you go to visit. But in your experiments, particularly with the B&B experience in Bugnon, are you seeing also requests for these private special experiences? And what are the challenges with it?
I would say we, due to how big we are, we can't receive big groups. And so I would say that even for us, when I receive groups, I prefer small groups because you really can exchange, really can answer to every question, really explain what I'm doing, what I was sensible, what am I thinking. So even I think for the winemaker, it's more precious to have small groups where you really can interact with them. So finally, yes, of course, it's a lot of time. You can spend 3 hours or even more for a private tour. But I think it helps to remain after in the head of these visitors. They live the experience. They're gonna talk about this about all your friends, all our families. And so it's more rich for them, and I think it's also more rich for us to not just being really can show what our heart belongs to the winds and our minds.
Well, yeah, exactly. Show a part of your life and part of your heritage with there and create a new story, I think. So we have another question here, maybe just briefly for instance, Patricia and Doris. What happens or what do you do during the less busy months? So for instance, like in summer, it's very hot in Mendoza, Patricia. So how do you access this? And maybe for Doris, you can mention, which is now the low season because it's winter, or is it? Tell us, how do you manage numbers when it's not so classically busy?
Well, Mendoza is dry. It's hot, but it's dry. So it doesn't affect you so much. It's the high season for us is summer. And we have a lot of sunset. It's very fashion in Mendoza to have sunset. So people have a glass of wine, a DJ, and we have sunset. So this is to maximize the experience at night when it's a little bit cooler. But during the day, people start early in the morning. We have more indoors activities, more wine tasting, more activities inside the wineries, but we don't see lack of tourists because of the summer.
Interesting. Thank you. Beautifully put. And Doris, for you. And Lavo.
But of course, our busy months are from May to October. So when it's during spring, summer to the harvest. And but what is changing for us, we mostly don't have any special person for this. So during summer, when we already have more work in the vineyard, but we add some work even more. And so when we come back from the vineyard at 5 in the evening, it's to go have a shower and then receive one group. So we are quite happy to have this the months after during winter when it's more quiet, just to have a little rest also. And what maybe is, but during winter there are more tasting salons in Lausanne or other cities. So during the winter we go outside to present our wines, and during summer people coming to us, coming visiting our vineyards and wineries.
Wonderful. Thank you. And of course, Lavaux having Lac Léman, Lake Geneva, right next door. I mean, it doesn't get too cold. It doesn't snow that often. So walking outside is always a possible thing. And then a stop for a little tipple of wine is not a bad thing either. So I have another question here coming in, maybe to all three of you. And Rafael, you could start. And maybe we've covered a lot of this in our talk, but maybe if you could sum it up in one or two sentences or an idea, is whether you feel you have a significant competitive advantage to having the ability to position yourself as a property with heritage. Do you think it establishes a firmer positioning compared to a newly created domain or property? So versus something that's new, contemporary, versus you building from something that has already been established for a long time. So Rafael, you're fourth generation. Tell me what you think, and this is a lot of what we've discussed today is about this, but I'd love to get your single idea on this too.
I would say this is an authentic project coming from the heart of a family in the idea of sharing, but not in a traditional way, but in a very, very professional in the sense of really professional services and really great quality visit. That's really exceptional compared to other wineries are doing, thanks to our museum and foundation.
And do you think really, whether you're a fourth generation or one generation, you have your own story, correct? And that is what the thing you build from. Yeah.
Yes.
Patricia, what do you think?
Well, in our case, our property, Club Tapiz, is a historic property dating from 1890. And I think when you are far away, people travel to see something that has identity of the place. You don't travel to see the same you can see 2 hours from your house. So I think in Mendoza, what has a lot of identity, has a lot of history, and it's very different. So when people travel and they have in the mind the mountains, the horses, the gauchos, the barbecues, everything, you see that when you go there. So I think to keep that alive is very, very important so that people may still choose us. Again, if you see the same new modern architecture that you can see 2 hours from where you live, you will not travel 14 hours to see that. So we always have to provide them with what they expect, what they have in mind when they think about Argentina and when they think about Mendoza. And in Club Tapiz, you see all that.
Thank you so much. Doris, as we talked a little bit about, 16th century with Bourguignon, for instance, but people don't always think about wine with Switzerland. So in fact, in some ways, you're contemporary for wine, but with thousands of years of heritage. How do you capitalize on that?
But for our part, like people discover the Swiss wines mostly luckily, so it helps a lot to just to make a basement, not to tell us the wine in Switzerland. It's just happened 20 years ago. When they see after our wineries, so they're old buildings, more than 500-year-old buildings. If we can tell them the story what's behind, it really helps to get Swiss wine more serious. It's also heritage for us, it's history for us, and so it helps to get Swiss wine serious, real wine. We have chateau like we can have in France, it helps us a lot to bring a certain to let them matching the quality level that we can have with more than 1,000 years of wine culture in Switzerland.
Of course, yep. And just get them to experience the wine as not just an après-ski, right? That's the key part of it as well. Thank you so much to all three of you for today's webinar and sharing your insights and ideas, and also what you're doing in terms of today. You'll see a poll coming up, but please, we would love to know what themes and discussion points you would like to feature next year in the webinar series for Great Wine Capitals. We always want your feedback. We're always keen to hear about it. Please know that on January 26th, we have a webinar from Gregory Stelanecki. Gregory is actually going to be presenting the results of the Global Wine Tourism Report. All the information there, you can see that. We're just sharing that. You can use the QR code there to find out more. This will be really interesting for those in tourism specifically, but also in domains and winemaking. It's obviously a lot of different data has come together, and to help you think of new ideas, innovate, create, but also remember your story in 2026 and beyond. Again, it's been a joy moderating our webinar series in 2025, and I hope to see you again soon. Thank you all to all the panelists that we've featured this year, and happy holidays to you, whether in the Southern Hemisphere, and happy summer. And if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, have a wonderful winter, not too cold, but at least cold enough. All the best. See you soon, and keep drinking.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.